So it's an interesting report. I'll show you why. Give me a second. I assume you can all hear me. Let me know. Let me know if a couple of you can hear me. Just type it in, please. And I don't have to worry. Okay, good. Thanks, Carlos. And welcome to the FOMC Minutes. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes, and it is possible to lose money trading futures, so please trade carefully. Give me 1 second. Chantal, I'm good. I'm fine. Chantal, I'm fine. Okay, so let's take a look at the report. This is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Now, we have seen nothing but weird market results today. Nothing. Okay? So I'm going to trade the micros. There's no point in losing hundreds of dollars because the markets are weird. It's like we always say, there's always another opportunity for another trade. You're not missing out on anything. Okay? Never. You're never missing out. That's the most important thing to realize. If you think you're missing out, then you're missing out, you know, but it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. I don't believe we're missing out. I think that if anything, we're just protecting our accounts. We made $280 yesterday. Why give it all back when the possibility that the market is trading very strangely right now, and you're not going to get the standard, typical, normal results. So there's just no point in worrying about it. Trade safely. Next week will be a little bit more normal of a week. We'll probably have 2 pretty normal weeks before Christmas kicks in. So in other words, next week will be very normal. I'd say we'll have 3 more normal weeks. The first week of the month is always very normal. You can always count on ADP, US jobs, you know, the big reports. You can always count on them to be nice and solid. So you don't have to worry. The point is, there's no point in worrying that you're going to miss all your trades. You're not. All right, so let's look at the DMM. It's very important because this report has been looking desperately for a setup, okay? So take a look at this. What would you do if you were the trade room moderator? What would you do? October, canceled. August, canceled. July, stopped. May, stopped. April, canceled. February, stopped. Last chance for this report? Are you kidding me? This last chance was last month. This report should not be traded with gold in this way, shape, or form under any circumstances, okay? This is not a last chance for me. This is no thank you. I've seen enough, okay? I've seen enough. Now, there's something interesting that takes place at the bottom of this DMM. A bracket trade on the NQ may be a suitable alternative. Bracket of 8, activate at 59, 40-second cancel, targets 15 and 30, a stop of 15. Wow. That sounds a lot like someone I know. So I'm going to look in my journal. The last report was October 13th, okay? FOMC minutes. Under no circumstances am I interested in gold on this report. The previous report was August 8th. So give me one more second. I like to check the journal. So FOMC minutes. Here's what's interesting. Has not been trading well at all, okay? Has not been trading well at all with gold. And we know that because we've been testing different things, different instruments on it, okay? So Chantal has a new test that she's done. You could try the bracket trade on FOMC minutes. I would increase that bracket probably to 14, okay? I think today the market is really volatile, and I would also probably trade the micros. You know, if you don't mind losing a couple of $100 trading 2 contracts, you can do it. But this is the day that you probably want to be smart, okay? And protect your account. It's the day before Thanksgiving. You don't have anything to prove to anyone. Who are you proving it to? Not to me. Not proving it to me. So it's all a question of, you know, protect your account. Keep your money safe. Keep your money safe. Okay? That's what I would recommend. I recommend keep your money safe. And I think we're streaming. I hope we're streaming. So, folks, were you able to hear me? We don't trade the dollar, Josh, so no idea what the dollar is going to do. We don't trade it. Sorry. It's probably going to go up or down, I guess. That'd be my guess. Now, the dollar has been, let me think for 1 second. Now, you know what? I don't want to give you wrong information. I don't pay much attention to the dollar these days. Okay, so, but the NQ, we watch a lot. We've done some testing with a range trade on the NQ. If I were going to do a breakout trade, and I said I'm not that interested in risking hundreds the day before Thanksgiving when almost every trade we watched today was somewhat abnormal. Oil didn't fill, natural gas did a whipsaw. The only trade that was reasonably normal was, believe it or not, GDP, but in a sense it wasn't normal because it didn't react the way that it should have with all those news reports. So in a way, you could say that it wasn't normal, you know? It all depends on how you look at things. So we do have an interesting test that we could do with a gold trap trade. So I'm going to set up a gold trap trade, and that'll be a gold test, okay? That's not going to be live. And the gold trap trade is going to be as follows. Remember, position size is the number of contracts and orders you're going to have how many positions and how many contracts. One position, one contract. So position size 1 is a 1. Position size 2 is a 1. Tiers are your orders. They're your brackets. So my tier is going to be 15 and 22 with gold. I'm going to put in 1,400 hours for the time of the report. And 10 seconds before 2 o'clock, my trap trade orders are going to go on the chart. Okay. Okay. So you're going to have my orders on the chart 10 seconds before 2 o'clock. My stop on gold is big. The big risk is like a $400 or $500 risk on this trade. So this is a new test, a new setup. I would test it. I'm not trading it live. I've never traded it live yet. So you got to try it once. Price at the time on Bracket Center. Average price bars is 10 on the trap trade. Those are defaults. One position on 1, one position on 2. Wait for spike is a default. Stop loss is last fill price. That should not be average price. And then my tiers, 15 and 22. Trade time is 1,400 hours, 2 p.m. Orders go on the chart 10 seconds. Prepare 10 seconds before 2 p.m. and the stop is 20. That's the trap trade setup. And we'll see how that works out. That we're going to watch. Okay. Let me record this. And you know what? Let me go over that setting real quick one more time so it's in the video. All right. Here we go. One more time on the trap trade for the video. Gold trap trade for FOMC minutes. 2 tiers, 15 ticks, 22 ticks, 1,400 entry time, trade time, and then 10 seconds of prep with a stop of 20. That's my trap setup. Now, on the NQ. So Chantal, here's what I think is going to happen today. I think a breakout is a lot safer than a range. But you've done a bunch of testing. Your testing is always very solid. So I'm going to go with your range testing. If I were going to do the breakout, my setup for the breakout on the NQ would be a 12 to 14 tick bracket today. Markets are, the NQ is, it's been moving. It's been moving today. You know, if you want to do 10 to 12, you can. I think there's going to be enough movement in this report to work either way. If it works, if it doesn't whip, it might just be a whip because it's the day before Thanksgiving, the markets are thin. Okay? The markets are somewhat thin. Stop of 15. Stop of 15. You know, on the NQ, I never have a problem ever with a 20 tick stop. So your stop can be between 15 and 20. It can depend on how many contracts you're trading and how much risk you want to put on the table. It's $5 a tick on the NQ. And then we're going to try a range trade. Chantal, you want to modify anything because of the MNQ? So make sure that you choose range trade. Trade type, range trade. Okay. trade type, range trade. I'm going to label it NQ, range, FOMC, minutes. Okay. That's my label. I'm really going to trade it. All right. And with a range trade, I need a start time and an entry time. Okay. My start time is going to be 13:58:01. Sorry, 13:58:00. Make sure that your graphic shown on chart is checked and that your ticks above the range and below the range is 5. Ticks above is 5, ticks below is 5. Might be, it could be a tiny bit bigger with the MNQ. Stop. Again, I would go 22, a little bit bigger. Can you all hear me? I assume you can all hear me because once again, nobody's talking. Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's doing nothing. Nobody's doing nothing. Our entry time is 14:01. All right, Fred, you're the only one answering me. Carlos answered me. 14:01. Izzy finally answered me. Izzy answers. Izzy answers. All right. Izzy, I'm calling you Izzy from now on because that's what you call yourself in all your emails. Okay, good. I like both names. Both are fine. 14:01 is entry time, range trade. Okay. Stop 22. I'm trading the MNQ. I'm going to add. No, you know what? I'm not adding anything. I don't know if this is going to work. We've never done it before. This report is a disaster. Okay, if you're doing the breakout, Izzy, so I would do 59 with the bigger, yeah, I would do, but I wouldn't trade it big, okay? I wouldn't trade it big, and I'd lean towards the heavier bracket size, especially with the micros. What's the worst that'll happen is you won't get filled. So I'd rather it not fill us because it doesn't move that much. I'd probably wait on the cancel. I'd probably give it at least 45 seconds. This report can sometimes respond slowly. It can sometimes respond slowly. I just think today lends itself to weirdness. I think that's what's going on today is a little bit of weirdness. So I just think taking care is prudent. So one more time on the range trade. So the bracket, the breakout, if I were trading the breakout, I would use 12 to 14 on the bracket. I might do 3 positions rather than 2. Because you know me, I like my first target to have a chance of being filled. So I'd like my first target to be like 7 ticks, 8 ticks, not 15 or 20. And that's exactly what I'll do on my first target will be 9. My second target will be 30, okay? And maybe I'll go 12 because John Powell's testing is showing such large targets. So Fred, I'm going on the range trade targets of 12 and 30. Targets of 12 and 30 with a stop of 22. If we had traded this before and I knew it was working well live, I would trade 3 positions, 2 contracts per position, but I don't know the trade well enough. We haven't seen it. We haven't tested it. So it needs to show us what it can do. 5 ticks above the range, 5 ticks below the range. Graphic shown on chart. My start time, 13:58, and my entry time, 14:01. Is this going to work? Who knows? Okay? Who knows? This is unusual. This is 14:01, a minute after. All right? So we're expecting a trend after 1 minute. If it really just chopping around, I might cancel the trade. Okay? I might cancel the trade. Because if it's just chopping around because of the holiday, then we have to accept that. You know, we have to accept it. And I don't have a problem accepting anything. We've been doing this. I've been doing this long enough that I don't have any issue with anything. Canceling, not canceling. Anything can happen, and you just want to leave yourself open to it without getting all bent out of shape. Okay? Don't torture yourself if something doesn't work out. That's the key. So one more time on the range trade. 5 ticks above the range, 5 ticks below the range. Graphic shown on chart. 1 position for 12 ticks, 1 for 30. 35. No, I'm going for 30. Stop at 22. Entry is 14:01. 2:01. The only thing I'm thinking about is a slightly bigger ticks above the range because I'm using the micros. But let's see. Let's go for it. So that's my setup. And this is our last trade of the week. And is the NQ really flat right now? So Randall, we don't trade the SPY. We trade futures. We trade futures. Okay? That would be the ES for us. No idea what it's going to do. We don't care what it does. We just want it to move in one direction. That's the concept of what we do. So Chantal's yelling at me about the targets. She's yelling at me about the targets. How about, Chantal, the ticks above the range? You did the testing on this report. So I didn't want to make my first target huge. Okay? So I'll do 3 targets with micros. Okay? And I'll do 12, 25, and 45. All right? How's that? 12, 25, and 45, and I'll do 3 positions. All right? So Chantal wants me to use bigger targets. She did the testing. Listen, just look what happened with the bond. The bond and gold this week. Her testing was perfect. I know you don't know with MNQ, Chantal. It should be pretty darn close, don't you think? They're so similar. They're really very similar. I think there should be good volume, decent volume. It's like I said, if it's just chopping around like crazy, I might not execute the trade. I would prefer to see a little bit of a trend. That's what I would prefer. We may not get that. It may start to trend when we get in. You never know. It's a minute after. Let's check our sync by going to the website time.is. I've been perfectly in sync all week. So don't forget, I've got a trap trade on gold that I'm looking at. And that's going to go on 10 seconds before the news. But I'm going to concentrate on my NQ, my MNQ, because that's the report that we tested. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining us on YouTube. If you'd like to see full trade rooms and full events, you need to join our trade room, www.10minutetrades.com. We'd love to have you as members. Have a nice holiday, everybody on YouTube, and thank you very much for watching.